Blessings and peace to you. This is SB Favor Thinking Podcast, and my name is SB Favor. How are you doing today? It is Friday. Thank you, Lord, for Friday. Yes, it's Friday, July 19th, 2024. Another wonderful day and another day to be thankful. Yes, and as I always say, if you focus on what is good, then you can project something good to happen. So make sure you focus on what is good. And I do understand sometimes we could be in the middle of something that is challenging. But even if you are in the middle of something that is challenging, make sure you just continue to persevere and focus on what is good. Because when you focus on what is good, yes, I got to say it again, then you can project something good to happen. Yes, right in the middle of a challenge. We have to keep going forward even when we are challenged. I understand sometimes it doesn't feel good, but we must keep going forward. Yes. So, focus on what is good. If you are out there traveling about today, make sure you are keeping yourself safe. Keep your family members safe. Make sure you pray. Make sure you do what you have to do to stay focused, because if you are using your phone too much in the public, you are distracted. So make sure you stay focused, keep yourself safe and your family members safe. And if you are out there traveling by air, stay encouraged. There was a power outage today, a cyber attack or something like that, and all the airlines are down, the systems are down, so just stay encouraged. If you are waiting for your flight and if your flights are delayed, just stay focused, stay encouraged, and make sure you pray. It never hurts to pray. If you would like to give to the podcast, you can give at Cash App, $SB Favor, or you can give at Venmo at SB Favor. Once again, if you would like to give to the podcast, you can give at Cash App, $SB Favor, or you can give at Venmo at SB Favor. Thank you so much for your support and your donations. Well, the title of this episode is Giving with Grace, Setting Boundaries with Those That Don't Deserve Your Goodness. That's right, the undeserved. Giving with grace, setting boundaries with the undeserved. Yes, it's sad to say that someone doesn't deserve goodness, right? That's a sad thing to say, but it's something that's real. And the only reason why I say it like that, because there are some people that will take you for granted. There are some people that will not value the goodness that you show them. There are some people that will not acknowledge the good that you show them. They just have what you call a non-caring attitude. They have a non-caring attitude, and no matter how much good you show them, they just don't care. And I call that type of person the undeserved. Yes, I call them the undeserved. Why? Because if someone does something good for you or with you, that means we should show them appreciation. We should acknowledge what they have done. Because if someone takes the time to think about you, if someone takes the time to consider you, then show them some type of love. Show them some type of honor. Don't have an attitude of, oh, well, thank you, okay. You don't want that. You don't want to be that way. So, giving with grace has everything to do with using wisdom. Also, it has everything to do with self-preservation. Yes, self-preservation, because if you are giving, and the other individual or individuals are not returning what you are giving, then that can be quite draining. Yes, it can be quite draining. We must have a balance when we give. We must have a balance according to what we do for others, because we definitely have to do things for ourselves. Self-care is very, very important. And if you don't have a balance when it comes to giving and doing things for others, you have to check that. Because giving with grace and setting boundaries is wisdom. Yes, it's wisdom, because self-care is important. We have to set the boundaries to preserve what we need for ourselves. Yes, 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 we sure do. So if you are constantly giving, and the next person doesn't reciprocate it, they don't acknowledge it, and they don't do anything to consider you in return, then you need to check that. Because we should give with grace and we should give with wisdom. Now, I'm not talking about giving to constantly have an expectation of a return. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about giving so much of yourself to the point where you are just not setting a balance to preserve what you need for yourself. I decided to talk about this today because I was observing a situation recently, and I was having a conversation with someone, and I noticed that it's a beautiful thing to be kind. It's a beautiful thing to show courtesy and consideration to others. It's a beautiful thing to just show someone how much you love them and just being considerate. It's beautiful. But you also have to set a balance. And as I was observing this situation, I began to talk to myself, because I'm the type of person that constantly gives out. But if I'm giving to someone and they don't receive it according to some level of reciprocation, some level of just being receptive, then I'm not gonna keep giving to someone like that. I'm not gonna keep giving to someone and they are not receptive to what is being given to them. And many of us have done that. Yes, you put your all into something and there's no return. Many of us are putting our all into these jobs. And now I'm not saying don't go to work with a good attitude. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is this. Many of us have put our all, our efforts into so many different things that have not given us a return. Some things should give you a return. Yes, you should be honored for some of the things that you have done. You should receive some type of acknowledgement, and there should be some type of reciprocation of some of the things you have done. Because if you are constantly giving, and the person or the group or whoever is not reciprocating what you have given, then that means they are undeserving of what you have given. Yes, they are undeserving, because if you are constantly giving, and they just take, and there's never a return, that's a problem. That's a problem. That is not what we are supposed to be doing, because that could be quite draining if you are constantly giving like that. And I told myself recently, I'm just going to stop caring. And I'm not talking about just stop caring about people, but there are some things I care too much about, and I just need to just step back because I want to see people successful. I want to see people do well. I want to see people achieve their goals. So I put a lot or more effort into helping others to achieve their goals. And I notice lately there are some that are not receptive to my efforts. So guess what? I'm going to step back. And am I calling that type of person undeserved? Yes, because when someone cares about you to do something for you, we should be receptive to that. Because if you're doing something for someone and you don't expect a return, you just have good intentions. But if they are not receptive to it, then guess what? You need to step back. You need to step back and maintain a balance and know when to do something and when not to do something. So in my case, I decided to step back when it comes to my work and how I help people. I decided to step back because if an individual is not receptive to me helping them, then I should step back. Yes, because I had to tell myself, okay, I have to have a balance in that area too when it comes to work, when it comes to helping people. There's nothing wrong with wanting to see people win. There's nothing wrong with that. But you cannot drain yourself in the process of doing it. No, you can't, because you have to have and maintain self-care. We have to define the capacity of our limitations when it comes to our energy and our time and how we help people. Because having the right intentions to help others and to do things for others is beautiful, especially when you do it with your heart and you don't expect anything in return. You're just doing it because you want to see other people win. There's nothing wrong with that. But we have to define our capacity. We have to set some boundaries, and we have to understand our limitations when it comes to our time and our energy. And we have to be honest with ourselves as well, because you don't want to be drained because you are helping someone else, and on top of that, they're not receptive to it. So they don't deserve it because they don't want to receive it, so they don't deserve it. Now, I know it might be somebody out there that disagrees with that, but it's okay if you don't agree with me. I'm saying this based upon my experience. If you have a different experience, okay, fine. But someone that is not receptive to your help or receptive to the good that you have done, they don't deserve your help then. They don't deserve it. Yes. We also have to communicate clearly to set the boundaries when it comes to helping others. Because we have to, as I said, we have to define our capacity. We have to make sure we know when to set limits. And communicating clearly, knowing when to say no, knowing when to prioritize yourself is a good thing. Having healthy expectations is okay. When you have invested a lot into someone, it's okay to have and establish healthy expectations. Because when you have healthy expectations, you are clearly communicating what you can do and what you are expecting. So make sure you learn to say no, prioritize yourself, and communicate clearly. And like I said, it's okay to establish healthy expectations. If you invested a lot into something or someone, that's normal. That is normal. We should also evaluate regularly where we need to set boundaries when it comes to giving and what we do for others. We have to set the boundaries because remember, taking care of yourself is not selfish because you have to preserve some things for you. Because if you are constantly giving to someone and they are draining you, that's the wrong kind of giving. That is the wrong kind of giving because wherever you give, there should be some type of reciprocation. There should be some type of consideration. There should be some type of return. A farmer plants seeds in the ground, and as he takes care of the ground, a farmer receives a return. It might take some time, but he will receive a return. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he reap. You don't put a seed into the ground and not get a return. It doesn't happen that way. So if you are giving to someone and there is no return, I'm not saying you should have an expectation in all situations, but they haven't considered you, they haven't even thought about you, they haven't done anything at all to acknowledge the good that you have done, to do something in return for you, that's a problem. As a parent, we love to make sure our children are cared for and taken care of. But as our children grow and as they become adults, we need to hold them accountable. And we hold them accountable by having expectations. So after we have cared for our children for so long, at some point, all that you have given, there should be some type of reciprocation. There should be some type of consideration, acknowledgement. So what I'm saying is our children should be in a position of return. And now, to some parents, I'm not talking about a mindset of entitlement. Okay, I'm not saying it's okay for you to have that, because some parents have a mindset of entitlement, like, oh, I'm your mom and you're supposed to do this. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a child returning and giving and reciprocating what their parents have done for them. Because some parents are constantly doing things for their children, even when their children are adults. At some point, as a child, you want to turn around and say, no, mom, or no, dad, you don't have to take care of this. I'll take care of this for you. That's what I'm talking about. But for the parents that walk around with this mindset of entitlement, of I'm your mom and you should do this, no, that's the wrong attitude. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm solely talking about when you do something for someone and they turn around and consider you because of what you have done. And a parent and child relationship works that way sometimes because as parents we give a lot. And it's okay for a child to have a mindset of consideration and courtesy to say, oh, well, let me be kind to my mom, or let me be kind to my dad, instead of my mom always being kind to me. So giving with grace and setting boundaries with, the undeserved is important. And why is it important? It is important because we have to stay in a position of self-preservation. We have to practice self-care. And we also have to know when to maintain a balance. Because maintaining a balance in all things is healthy. So, I hope you got something out of all, excuse me, all that I said. I decided to do this episode today because I thought it was important to talk about. So, here I am. And, excuse me, I am trying to do something different with the podcast. So, doing more episodes and talking about different types of topics and having guests on. That's that is the plan. So here I am, and I thought this was a good topic because a lot of us we give, and we are constantly thinking of others, and we drain ourselves, and we're just constantly doing. And sometimes you need to be in a position to receive. There's nothing wrong with being in a position to receive. There's nothing wrong with having healthy expectations. Having good intentions to make sure other people are well and fine, that's good too. And not having any expectations at all when you do something for someone, that's healthy too. But when you have invested a lot into someone, there should be a return. Because whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he reap. That's a spiritual principle. And the farmer goes to the field to plant his seed. And as he cares for the ground, he will get a return. His harvest will come. And so that same principle applies to our lives according to what we do for others. So thank you once again for tuning in to listen to SB Favorite Thinking Podcast. If you would like to find me somewhere on social media, you can find me on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok. I am out there. SB Favorite Thinking Podcast or SB Favor. You can find me. That is the name of my handles, SB Favor and SB Favorite Thinking Podcast. If you would like to reach me via email, you can find me at sbfavor@yahoo.com. And make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Leave me some feedback there if you would like. And if you listen to me on iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Audible, wherever you listen to me, make sure you subscribe. And make sure you share this podcast with others. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much. You have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon.